All right, so today we're going to cover, we're going to finish at 6.1 and we're going to do 6.2, applications of normal distributions. Today you have Connect Math 5.3 due, and also you can turn in Tech Lab 3 late, but still get full credit today. Sunday, you have an unusual, you have a Sunday Connect Math due. You don't always, every once in a while you do. This Sunday you have a Connect Math 6.1 due on Sunday. And then Tuesday you have 6.2 due. For 6.2, please note, use 2 decimals for the z-scores and 4 decimals for the areas. Otherwise, it will wreak havoc with you and you will not understand why it's marking it wrong and why it's off just a tiny bit. It's because they want you to use 2 decimals for the z's and 4 for the areas. So take note of that for 6.2, or else it's, like I said, you're going to be banging your head for no reason whatsoever. Next Thursday, we have Connect Math 6.3 due. You were going to have exam 2 on Thursday, October 20th, so a week from Tuesday, covering chapters 3, 5, and 6. I will do a review session on Monday, October 19th. On Zoom, it'll be a different Zoom than this Zoom. It'll be the other class, it'll be the other Zoom, my Monday, Wednesday Zoom.
You said,
from 12 to
Thursday.
1.
You meant
What was
Tuesday?
that?
You said Thursday, you meant Tuesday?
I meant exam 2 is on Tuesday, review session's on Monday. Sorry, yes, whatever it says here. Tuesday, October 20th, sorry, my bad. Yes, and the review session is, thank you. And the review session is on Monday, October 19th. From 12 to 1, probably, and then from 6:30 to 8. And again, that's going to be on, well, technically 6:30 is 7:30, but I'll probably roll it a little bit late, both of them. And what else was I going to say? That's on a different Zoom than our Zoom. It's the other classes Zoom. So it's the Monday, Wednesday Zoom, the Math 50 Zoom. But I'll give you more information about that next class. Here is the information for exam 2. How about Zubair? Go ahead and read for us.
So exam 2 is on Tuesday, October 20th. Some problems marked no calculator functions show work. It covers chapters 3, 5, and 6, but not 6.4.
Mm-hmm.
You are allowed a half sheet, one-sided of notes that must be handwritten by yourself. Don't do it by anyone else, just you. Don't tilt your laptop down so much that you can't see the screen. Just show tops of hands. Don't reach outside of area.
Right. So in other words, when you tilt your laptop down, just tilt it down so, just enough, not too much. So this is going to be kind of weird because it's my other computer. Let me, that's weird. Sorry. So like when you tilt it, just tilt it down just enough so that I don't need to see your papers, right? So if these are your papers, I don't need to see your whole working space. I just need to see the tops of your hands as you're kind of working on them. So, wait, don't, no. Hold on. You guys can't see me at all. Okay. So I just need to see just the tops of your hands as you're working, not all of your paperwork. So, and then the other thing too is if you reach to grab something, like don't be reaching off here and doing stuff over here. Just grab it and then pull your calculator back. Nicolette, you keep grabbing my screen. And pull your calculator back and work with it here, right, or whatever it is. Don't be doing stuff over here or over there where I can't see what you're doing, because that will seem weird. Okay. All right. Yeah, and then there's some problems that are no calculator functions. So in other words, show work. I need you to show me the formulas for those. So like the binomials and the, so don't go using, and the mean, right? The weighted means, stuff like that. Okay, it'll be clearly marked. I'll say, cannot use the calculator functions for this show your work. And that'll be for the weighted means. It'll also be for the, like I said, the binomials. Okay, good. The other thing I want to talk to you about is this. How about Elia? Go ahead and read for us. Yeah.
Discussion board, working together, post questions about homework, in-class problems, Excel labs, exam review, or any issues. Other students can help you. Be specific. Post at least 3 times before the next exam.
Perfect. Thank you. Right. So there's a discussion board. If you go to discussion boards, it's in there. It's also there under our unit 2 or module 2. And you just need to post questions you have about anything, about any of these problems. Be specific, right? Just don't say, I don't get this problem. Say, I get stuck about blah, 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 or I can't understand why, whatever, right? And then other people can hop in and help. You need to post at least 3 questions or 3 responses helping other people, or a combination of those before next exam. And that's worth about the same as 1 Excel lab. That's the value of it in terms of your grade. All right, quick reminder about the binomial distribution, what we covered last class. Yes.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So we have to do that before exam 2, or?
Yes, which is a week from Tuesday.
Okay.
Week from Tuesday. Yep. So yeah, so you guys should, try to think about if you guys have any problems. You have how many problem sets coming up? 1 today, and then 1, 2, 3 more coming up in the next few days, the next 5 days. It should give you the next week. That should give you plenty of opportunities to find problems to ask questions about. Or you also have a tech lab due. You also have where is it now? The study guide, right? You can take a look at that as well if I could ever find it. I don't know where that is. But the study guide also. So if you go to start here, down under the study guides. All right, you can look at the study guide and you can say, well, I don't understand how they got the solution for blah, 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 because the solutions are also here, right? So if you have any questions about any of those, just pop them up there. And then, or if you don't have any questions, just pop on there and answer other people's questions, right? But you need to do 3 of those between now and the next exam. That's 7 plus 5, 12 days to do that. To post a question or answer a question. And 3 times, right? Okay. Reminder about the binomial distribution. Mean, variance, and standard. And actually, honestly, this has been up there for longer than that. I emailed you guys about this on Monday. So that's a little over 2 weeks total. Okay. Binomial distribution. It's my favorite distribution because the mean and variance are the easiest in the whole world. The mean is just NP. Variance, which is sigma squared, is just NPQ. And the standard deviation is just the square root of the variance, square root of NPQ. Let's get a reader for this one. How about Alay? Go ahead and read for us.
Z-values. A z-score represents the number of standard deviations a value is above or below the mean, a measure of how far from the mean it is.
Perfect, thank you. Right, so in other words, this guy over here, how far is he from the mean? Well, he is 1, 2, 3 standard deviations below the mean, so his z-score is -3. This guy, how far is he from the mean? Well, he's 1.5 standard deviations below the mean, so his z-score is -1/2. This guy, how far is he from the mean? Well, let me add a standard deviation and another one. He is 2.35 standard deviations above the mean. So he has a z-score of +2.3. It's always centered around the mean. How do I find the z-score? I figure out how far value is from the mean. I take the value, I subtract the mean. And then I want that in standard deviations. So I divide by a standard deviation. So, for example, for a population, it'd be x minus mu over sigma. That'd be the z-score. Write this down now. If you don't have it, write it down on your notes or on your quiz paper somewhere else, because you're going to need this later on today. And people are going to be like, what's that formula? How do I find a z-score again? You should know how to find a z-score. It's super, super important. This is how you do it. Okay, moving on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, great. Chapter 6. How about Adriana? Adriana, you know what? You're having computer problems today. Let's go with Malia.
Chapter 6, Normal Distributions. The shape and position of the normal distribution curve depend on two parameters, the mean and the standard deviation. Each normally distributed variable has its own normal distribution curve, which depends on the values of the variable's mean and standard deviation.
Right, so now we're talking about normal distributions. They all differ from each other by their mean and standard deviation. That's what makes each one different. So here, if we look at this, this is the one we had from last time, which is the heights of people, right? Heights of men in California, and this was kind of how their mean was 70, standard deviation was 5, and we figured out that we could figure out percentages below or above using the empirical rule if they fell on a whole, if their z-score was a whole number. But what if someone is 64 inches or 63.25 inches or something else? How do you find the area, so the percent of population that is below them or above them in this case? Well, the nice thing is that if for all z-scores, we have what's called a z-table. And for every single z-score, that z-table can tell you what percentage of population is below that z-score. So it means you can find the above the z-score because it has up to 100%. And the great thing about it is it's all stored into your calculator. So your calculator, if you feed it 2 z-scores, they don't have to be whole numbers, any z-scores you want, it will give you the area between those 2 z-scores. And so here with 64 inches or 63 inches, all I have to do is convert those to z-scores, and then we can use normal CDF. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing. We're going to be using normal CDF, and you put in, I want you to draw a picture, put in the 2 scores that you care about, and shade in between them. And then you'll do normal CDF of the lower z-score on the left side of the shaded area, and then the right z-score, the z-score on the right side of the shaded area, the upper z-score. In my calculator, I would do second vars, and then down to normal CDF, enter, and then I put in the lower z-score. So here, the lower z-score is negative. Don't forget the negative is next to the enter key. It's this little negative right here, 1.14, comma, and then what's my upper z-score? Well, if I go all the way off to the page, this goes on and on forever, right? My shaded area, it's to the right. So I'm gonna draw my little bell curve, put a little dash in the center for 0 is. Don't draw a line all the way up. I do not want this. The textbook does it and I hate it, but I can't change the picture. And then put in what your score is, the z-score you care about, and then you want to shade, so to the right, shading to the right. So here my lower score is negative 1.14. My right one is infinity. They used to use negative 999. You can use any number, like you can use any number that's your age or higher, and you'll get the area. This is the area right in here. This is 0.8729, this shaded area here. So that means that 87.29% of the population is more than negative 1.14 standard deviations below the mean, from the mean. It's more than this. Okay, so how do you do it again? Second vars, choose normal CDF, and then put in your left z-score, comma, your right z-score. If you have a fancy calculator, then you'll have a line that says lower. That's where you put the lower one in. And then it has the next line says upper. That's where you put the higher one. And then it says mean and standard deviation. Leave mean at 0 and leave standard deviation at 1. And then everything will be fine. Mean at 0, standard deviation at 1. All right, so let's go and take a look at what we have. So we had group, group 6. Great. So group 6, go ahead and explain to us how to do this one. Oh, wait, this wasn't it. This was this one. Go ahead. Someone from group 6? Hello. We talked about this.
Okay, so for this one, um, I'm not the greatest at explaining, but basically, like, I looked at how it was said, like, in between. So when I drew the thing, I made sure I put down. So when I drew this diagram, it was negative 2.3 and 2.3, and since the keyword basically was in between, I kind of colored in the middle right there.
Great. Perfect. This is a perfect drawing, just like this. This is exactly what I'm hoping for, something like this. You got your curve, you got your line, you got your 0 in the middle, just a little tiny tab for the 0, negative 2.3, positive 2.3, and you shaped it in between. Great. And then how'd you find it? How'd you find the area? Keep going.
So basically, I found the area by basically there was, I think I used a calculator.
Uh-huh.
But basically I used the normal CDF and I put down negative 2.3 and then 2.3, and I think I got the value
Great. You got
because
point.
it was the lower and upper boundary, I believe.
Okay. Good. All right. So go and give me the normal CDF and tell me what you put in there, because that way you can get partial credit. That way, if you screw up on your typing in and you get the wrong answer here, you'll still get almost all your credit as long as you've written this out. Does that make sense? Like if he had mistyped it and put, 0.3 and not 2.3, it would have given something totally wrong here. And I would still give him most of the credit if he wrote down this. Otherwise, he would get nothing. Well, he'd get the picture, so that might be all right. Okay, and then I think group 2 was going to explain to us how to do this one. So group 2, go ahead.
Okay, I'll try my best.
Good.
So we know that we have 0.75 and that Z was greater than that. So it would be to the left. And then
Right,
if
you
you
meant.
use
Right, that's
normal,
what you meant.
if you use the normal CDF formula and you put in the lower is 0.75 and the upper is 999, it will calculate out to 0.2266, which is 22.66%. And then we just graphed it out on the curve.
Perfect. And I would say, guys, I don't need all these guys. I don't need the -3, 2, and -1. I don't need the 1, 2, 3. All I need is the 0, and I don't need the 0 going that high. I would like the 0 to go less high than that. So ideally, don't give me that. Just give me a little tiny dash at 0 if you want, because otherwise it gets confusing. With too many lines, you don't know which one to shade. Does that make sense? And then just give me, 0.75. So I would even say, even if you took this away, right, took these guys away, then it's a little bit clearer. Oops, no, not that one. Okay, fine, move it for a second. But like if I took these guys away, then it's a little bit easier to see what's going on with everything. Maybe I leave 0 in there, or maybe I make a little bigger dash, but so you can kind of see what we're looking at without as much stuff confusing you. You know what I mean? All right, perfect. Nicely explained. Thank you so much. I really want you guys to stretch yourselves and practice explaining if you're not used to explaining, because like I said before, having to explain it forces you to put it into your own words, which makes your brain create a clear mental structure. And this clear mental structure will help you store it into long-term memory better, so you can retrieve it from long-term memory easier. That's the key. The key to learning and remembering is this explaining part. It's really vital. Okay, so group five, you guys were going to explain this one. Go ahead.
So pretty much for this one, since the question asked the percent of the population that has a z-score less than -1.03, we just picked any value that was less than that. So we picked -90 as an example. When we plug that into the calculator, normal CDF, we put -90 as the left value and -1.03 as the right.
Great.
And we got 0.1515, and we changed that to a percent, which is 15.15%.
Terrific. Thank you.
And pretty much we put on the graph, we put negative 1.03 as the left z-score,
Mhm.
and 1.03 as the right z-score. And
Oh, see, you don't want that though. Right, like this guy doesn't belong here.
okay.
He has no place there.
Okay.
We don't care about him. Keep going.
And then pretty much since the percent is less than the z-score, we highlight the left side.
Yeah, so really your left z-score is this guy way out here. Oops. People keep fighting with me. Okay, your left z-score is really way out here, negative 90. So this is your left z-score. And this is your right z-score. Look at the shaded area, right? The left z-score is negative infinity. Your right z-score is negative infinity. And your right z-score is negative 1.03. All right, great. Nice job, everybody. Thank you for explaining. Okay, so what I'd like you guys to do now is go back in there and make sure you draw your pictures. Make sure everybody knows how to do this, and do problems 22 and 23. I'm only going to give you guys maybe 10 minutes to do these. They should, well, maybe 12 minutes. So hop in and do 22 to 23, and then we'll come back in.